Kidnapped, walking the scene, reviewing old flicks from the 90s. So keen, the VHS Club, they're the talk of the town. Breaking it down, spreading nostalgia all around. Moving and grooving to the synth-pop sound. Their insight so fresh, painting pictures profound. From Pulp Fiction to Clueless, they know it all. The genuine love from movies stands tall. Unfolding memories on that VHS screen, talking about classics like you've never seen. Katie with her charm, Matt with that wit. Together they make the VHS Club legit.
Welcome back to the VHS Club. Hey, Nat. Hey, Andrew.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm back.
Back with a vengeance because Andrew was all in on RoboCops.
Yeah, this is my brother, Andrew, my baby brother.
Hey,
I talk about him rather often.
This is an absolute perfect movie to come to the episode for Andrew. I'm like thrilled that you're here, and I need to kick this off by saying and / admitting that I have been having ChatGPT help me write up like an outline and questions in case like I feel like I need them, and so I gave it like pretty vague information. I was like, Nat's back and Andrew's on, and like we're gonna talk RoboCop. And the first questions that it wants me to ask you are, when did you first watch RoboCop? And did it mess you up like a kid, like it did the rest of us? And then it follows up with, Nat, how do you feel when Andrew said that this was the pick of the night? Which I think is just a great, ChatGPT just gets us as a group. It's
Nailed
like,
it.
Are you all messed up? How is everyone feeling?
Of all the movies we've watched in the 80s that messed us up, this was not one of them.
Yeah. And I have to admit, so I'm just going to say this because we're like the closest group of close friends at this point, but I have now entered this really like humiliating moment of my life where I can't actually remember if I have seen these movies and watching them for the first time and I'm just so old that I don't remember them. Like I watched this for maybe the first time today, maybe not. I feel like I must not have because I feel like we probably watched it together. But fresh eyes for me, friends. I don't remember anything anymore. Just nothing.
In all fairness, I could see your dad not letting you watch this.
It's
when
fair.
We were
It may have been my dad, which is hilarious because I watch like.
But then why didn't you come across the street and watch it on our house?
I mean, that didn't really stop me from watching a lot of other movies. But I was like a good, I don't know, 35 minutes in before I was like, the kids could probably watch this. Like, it's pretty comical violence. Like, it's not that bad. But then there was a little bit of nudity, and I was like, maybe we hold off on letting
Like
the
excessive drug use.
Oh yeah, true. I hadn't got to that part. That's fair. See, I've already forgotten that. I was just like, oh, it's just like silly blood. Like it's silly blood. So we should kick it off. I am seeing a ton of people here hanging out with us in the live studio audience who are like team RoboCop and who have seen this one. So thanks to everyone for hanging out with us. We're gonna have trivia at the end. So I don't think Andrew needs help with it, but just in case, you can all serve as a backup. I love this comment. In high school, I beat a guy dressed as RoboCop in a Halloween pep rally where the audience picks the winner. Incredible Hulk beat out RoboCop. Oh my goodness. We should bring back those costumes as costume choices. That sounds absolutely incredible.
Now, was the RoboCop one of those like classic Halloween costumes where it was like just that that really sharp sheet of plastic with the like
Oh,
vinyl onesie.
like dollar store, whatever. Like,
Hey, those were
Hey,
expensive. Those were
those were from like Kmart. They
Yeah.
were expensive,
Yeah.
Andrew.
they were probably like $20.
That's why we never had them. Yeah, $20 in like the 80s.
In the 80s. Yeah, basically $150, which is actually like accurate because that's basically what costumes cost these days.
Yeah.
All right, well, we need to back it up. So, Andrew, you had the choice of any movie out there to review, and likely we'll force you to come back and review even more movies. But why RoboCop? Why is this one in your top list? Why is it one of your faves? What about it?
it's just one of the best 80s action movies ever created. It's just like it is in like my top 5 movies. Still to this day. There's just so much about it that's great. A lot of like just like the visuals, you know, like there was no CG back then, and you know, some of the stop motion was a little you know, rough around the edges,
Little
but
80s.
but a lot of the rest of it was pretty cool, like the targeting thing and some of these other visuals, the perspectives and other things like that, and just like his crazy gun that they made specifically for this. So
His
I don't
crazy
know,
gun that
but
he
that was just-
twirls. He does like the twirl for. I couldn't even do that like with a tiny plastic water gun. I can't imagine doing that with an actual prop.
Yeah, so that's why I said like definitely this one. This is like you haven't done it yet. This is the first one I'm gonna do.
This has become my new absolute favorite game. I feel so. Nat's been on break for a bit, and so I've been forcing all of my friends to come on and join me as pretend Nat co-host for these episodes, and it never ceases to amaze me what people say is their favorite movie, and we have done like almost none of them because Nat and I have apparently a very different list of like favorite movies than everyone else. But it always cracks me up because I don't think a person has asked for, we had one, my friend Mary Lou was like, have you done that thing you do? And I was like, we have. I'll do it again if you want. But that was the only one I think that overlapped. Everyone else has had like a different, and they've all been awesome. Like even the ones I hadn't seen before have just been fantastic. I agree with you. I think this one, whether or not I watched it for the first time or for the 150th time and have zero memory, I agree. Like I think this one holds up as being just like an all around epically awesome action movie that like doesn't feel all that dated. Like it feels got 80s, but
science.
It's not, yeah.
There's so much character development in it too.
Yeah.
So many layers of
rewatching. I was just like, oh, there's like actual like storyline. It's not just like pew pew pew, you know, like they flesh out some of the characters, especially the main character, and it's sort of that bridge is like, does AI have intelligence? Is it? Anyways, it's a little apt for now.
It's a little apt.
A little apropos.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone has
yeah.
seen this one, but Nat, since it is your role, you need to give us the quick
true.
IMDb movie phone summary of what this one is about. What is RoboCop about, Nat?
So it is about the privatization of public services. Mm-hmm. And developing technologies, and how sometimes people with too much money and a narcissism problem should not be allowed to be in charge of things. Mm-hmm. But a good old-fashioned cop, you know, cleans it all up for them.
Yeah. Plus robots and spinny guns.
Yes, spinny guns, yes. And great one-liners.
Such good one-liners. All the way through from start to finish. So Andrew defined it as an action movie, but it's also like pretty satirical and pretty funny. Like I think my favorite part of this movie is like the news segments with the fake commercials all the way through. Like I kept trying
What's that guy's tagline?
Oh shoot!
Oh, I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1. Yeah. Yeah. It's I loved those as much as the actual movie. Not gonna lie. I just thought it was fantastic.
The Nukem board game.
The Nukem board game.
That was intense. I was like, guys, not funny then. Definitely not funny now. It's so dark. That was pretty grim. That I mean, a lot of things in the movie, I guess, could be taken as grim, but like the Nukem board game, I was like, ooh, that's intense.
And it was funny because it's so jarring. Like you're like in the movie, and then it's just like this like ad just comes up out of nowhere. You're like, oh, all right, we're right. Or
It's like you're watching, it's like lots of like action, a lot of pew pew pew, and then you're like Nukem board game, and it's like this nuclear family playing this Nukem game. I was like,
Yeah.
oh man.
family game night. And at the center of it, we have, as you were saying, like this really kind of like actually heartfelt story about this cop who we get to know like well enough before he is just like gruesomely killed. Like he's just like, it's like, oh, it's like there's, you know, the cop Murphy, and he's like got this partner, and we kind of see like cop antics and, you know, who's gonna drive, and they're like getting their drinks, and then they run out, and then it's not too far into the movie, like we've like only just kind of gotten to know the two of them before we meet the epic bad guy, who we're just gonna call Red Foreman for all the obvious reasons.
Same actor, played Red Foreman from the 70s. Sorry,
Yeah.
what's his name, Andrew?
Like the character's name is Clarence.
Clarence
That's
Boddicker.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote that one
Yeah.
down. I'm not that smart. Clarence Boddicker. I don't actually know what the actor's name is. Someone will
I can't
IMDb it for
remember.
me. Before that 70s show, there was
Kirkwood
RoboCop.
Smith.
Oh, there you go. Kirkwood Smith. Great name. Great name. Yeah. So
He plays a great villain.
he
and I
plays
don't
a
know that I've
great
ever
villain.
seen him not villain.
It's funny. It kind of reminds me of oh, now I'm not going to forget the names, but the John Lithgow from, so like we grew up
Yes.
predominantly watching him on Third Rock from the Sun. That was like kind of the like core, like saw him the most. But then
I
he's
still remember the,
right.
the
Like,
hand thing from the aliens.
but
they're
then
greeting.
he's like, he's in all these movies where he's like not a funny, nice guy. And it was like this very, so I don't know, it was a similar feel where you have, you know, this actor who like we grew up with, you know, on that 70s show for sure, is this kind of like sarcastic, grumpy dad.
Well,
And-
he wasn't nice.
he was never nice on that 70s show, but he's definitely not as evil as he is in this movie. He pulls off evil bad guy real well. Like you're like, oh, okay, here he comes. But
I
he
think the
brutally
difference was-
kills Murphy in that opening scene.
Oh yeah, Red. So for me, the jarring thing is knowing him as Red Foreman, the like grumpy dad. When he's Clarence, when he smiles, because Red Foreman never smiles.
It's true.
So when Clarence like was like sociopathic ear to ear Kubrick stare kind of grin, I was like, oh, that is so disturbing. That's so terrifying. Like his face doesn't smile. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, but Clarence's does. And the fact his name is Clarence makes it like a little worse too. Like he's
Why
just,
is that evil?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. So okay, so this was another question that was AI generated for us, which makes it even more iconic. But over to you, Andrew.
Especially with this movie.
Yeah, exactly. Over to you on this one. Does the movie make you feel for Murphy as a person, or is he just a cool RoboCop?
Both.
Both. Both. How about you, Nat? What do you think?
It's absolutely both.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, he's mostly a RoboCop, but still a person.
Yeah, I think like it's funny on one hand, it's really campy, like how they handle it, like where he has like a very brief moment before he's killed and then turned into this RoboCop, and then he's got like, and then we go through like a bunch of RoboCop stuff where he's like arresting people and killing people and doing justice things, and then he remembers like and not remembers, but like kind of has these, I guess, memory
PTSD,
jogs,
like
flashbacks of his family. And there's like this slightly campy scene where he's like in his house and he's like flooded with memories. And you do kind of feel really bad for him, even though it's really cheesy, the way that they lay out that scene. Like it does.
Yeah.
By the way, I would live in that 80s house in a heartbeat.
And I have so many questions about that because like, okay.
Different levels, and the fireplace is like this pyramid thing in the middle. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in that house, but I'd live in there.
Also,
Like, how much money? What was his wife's job?
yeah, what was it? So here were my questions. Exact as you, Nat. So like, what was his wife's job? And then like, as I was exploring the house in my mind and was same as you, Andrew, like I would like to live in this house. Then I was like, why is this house just like abandoned? Like there's like a broken coffee cup and like debris everywhere and like stuff that was like burned. I'm like, didn't they just move? Like they had like a funeral and then they like sold their house and moved? Like why is the house in like this state of post-apocalyptic?
They've implied that this city is overrun with crime, which is why they privatized the overseeing of the police force and are trying to bring in robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, the police want to go on strike. Too many of them are dying, you know? Like it's
like the town seems
chaos.
overwrought with crime.
I guess. Typical Detroit things.
I think I think poor Detroit.
Sorry, Detroit fans. Sorry, I'll take it back.
Just because a lot of the car manufacturing like went under in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then the city turned to be quite infamous for its crime rates, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of car manufacturing, that 6000 SUX is pretty badass. Another thing that I would love to have. I would drive that.
Andrew was just shopping
Bigger
every
is
commercial
better.
that came up. Bigger is better. Bigger is better.
I was gonna say, I think one of the primary reasons that Murphy / RoboCop is both is to not terrify us that AI will take over the world.
Yeah.
I mean, in the 80s, they were hoping that wouldn't happen, as Katie is today talking to ChatGPT for her
Hey, my
questions.
robot friends are very helpful. They've given us some great questions.
I love how recently I saw they're like, please stop saying like, please and
Please
thank
and
you
thank
when
you.
you're using ChatGPT
Yeah.
GPI because it uses too much like power consumption and stuff. I'm like, I am always going to be fucking polite
Yeah.
to
Same.
AI.
To our robot overlords.
I mean, hi, we've seen RoboCop.
I do love this comment from Kathy. She says, you needed RoboCops. It was the precog era before Tom Cruise could predict crime, which is so very true. So very true, Kathy. Yeah. I did love, okay, wait, so we need to talk about this scene for a second. So before Murphy is like brutally almost killed and becomes the like RoboCop that we know in this movie, they have the like, and Andrew probably knows the name of them, but the pre-RoboCop robots that are hilarious and lethal.
Ooh, yeah,
and I
the
love the
F209.
scene. I love the scene in the like evil business like corporate meeting room where they're all like discussing the robot. They have the robot there and it just like goes horribly wrong and like massacres this one of the guys in the room, and they just
Mr. Kenny.
they just continue on as if nothing has happened. Like if that's not like an evil lair, there is nothing else.
Well,
that
one
is.
person yelled out to call the paramedics.
Yeah, he was clearly dead. Like he's like been like his body is just like a pile of red pulp blood everywhere. And they're like, call the paramedics, and everyone else is just
For what?
fine. They're just moving forward with this.
They would have
robot
lost their military contract in half a second.
Yeah, no one even looked all that shocked, other than the guy who was asking for the paramedic. Everyone was kind of just like, "Well, all right, let's continue on with this meeting."
Like, I could use this to my advantage.
Yeah, it was like both shocking and comical and terrifying at the same time. But I did love that scene, and there's something like, and that was
My favorite
Go for
end
it.
scene. Actually, my favorite scene in the movie, because it makes me laugh so much every time I see it, is when at the end of the movie when RoboCop is going to the corporate headquarters of whatever this company's name is, and the Ed is like chasing him through the building, and it gets caught up by the stairs.
Yeah, by the
like
stairs.
it can't use stairs.
Yeah.
It fumbles, it falls, and it's like a raptor turtle on its back, like like how do you spend all this time inventing this cop robot, this police robot, and like don't consider it might need to use stairs?
Yeah, that was pretty epic, and it's made even greater by the fact that like they just double down in trusting these robots, because there's like a later scene where they're like, don't worry, everyone, we have one of the robots outside, and RoboCop
It's
kills
guarding
it.
the building.
It's guarding the building, and RoboCop kills it in like 3 seconds, and it's just upstairs. It's just like, oh man, y'all, this robot is not going to save anyone. But yeah, the stairs part was incredible, because I actually rewound it old school VHS style and made my 13-year-old watch it. I was like, this is the best scene in any movie. You need to watch this. Because he like tries to like, he hesitates. He like goes to step on the stair, and then he's like, no, like hesitates. And then he like tries again.
Toes it to try and make sure he can get
and then he like
step. He
falls and he's making these like crazy sounds. Yeah, exactly. The sound effects are epic in this movie. He's making these like crazy sounds, and he's looking, that scene's pretty epic.
So the reason why that stair shot looks better and not as choppy is because they actually remade the exact miniature model of the stairs. Same paint, same everything, and then they just tumbled the little model down the stairs. So it wasn't like this background image green screen thing.
Yeah.
It was just a little model tumbling down.
I think
That's amazing.
it like there was such an artistry to all of that we've unfortunately lost. Like, not that the CGI stuff and all of that isn't cool, but they're like,
I like a combo of set.
there's something just like really neat about the
tech.
fact that they're like, someone's entire job was that they built a tiny robot to shove down the stairs. That's iconic. I think that's absolutely incredible. Emma's saying the scream noise the robot makes is ridiculous. It is. I'm with you, Emma. It's
so
like
cute.
100% ridiculous. It's kind of the
Andrew-
cutest thing ever.
Yeah. So Andrew, what's your favorite scene?
My favorite scene is when RoboCop first goes to the firing range, and all the cops are shooting at the targets, and then you just hear that 3-round burst, like blam noise, and then everyone stops and everyone starts looking over, and like the guy there, Bob or whatever, is just like laughing. You know, he's so happy with his little like earmuffs on. That whole scene is just amazing to me. And that was like RoboCop's debut, you know, and I don't know, that was my favorite one.
It also helps his partner realize that it's him, because she sees the gun spin
Yeah.
at the end of it. She's like, whoa, wait a
Murphy,
second.
it's you.
Murphy, it's you. Which there's no way that he would have survived that. Like, yeah.
He got shot like
In the head.
center mass in his head.
decimated.
Like,
They took off like, it was like Monty Python Search for the Holy Grail level of like the Black Knight. Like, it was like his arm was like thrown from his body.
first the head,
Yeah,
then the arm.
then the arm, and then he's just like, yeah, there was no way he would have lived through that, but we'll pretend.
Apparently, that scene was filmed and it was a lot more gory.
Yeah.
Except the whatever it is there, the FAA or whoever.
The NC-17
Like what?
version is like, he's even
Yeah,
more
the
killed.
Move
Apparently.
Move on.
Oh, I
And
think
that-
I
that
watched.
version, like,
I don't know what version I watched, but I was thinking, I was like, this is a lot gorier than I remember. So maybe
so
I
is that.
maybe I
I
saw one
remember
of
being that
those.
gory when I first watched it when I was like maybe 10 years old, like at camp.
Your parents were like me as a parent. They're like, that's fine.
I don't think they knew I watched that. I was like watching it with our neighbor Paul Koschuk.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love it.
Like a rainy day, VHS popped in.
Yeah, or a
I'm allowed to
cottage.
watch this.
Our parents are somewhere else.
I love it. Josh is saying that it was Phil Tippett who was hugely involved in the stop motion work on the original Star Wars trilogy, who was also in this one.
Oh. I
Yeah.
was gonna say, I like of all like sets and stuff like that I
It did feel
That's-
kind of Star Warsy. I was thinking of like,
yeah,
some of
I
the-
was like, oh, it reminds me of the Millennium Falcon and how it's like the size of a hamburger. Because it was literally designed after a hamburger.
Absolutely.
Different movie.
Yeah, that's fine. we can always relate it back to Star Wars.
But I'm like,
That's
the
totally
Millennium Falcon's this big in real life. I'm like,
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah, again, there's just like an absolute magic for it. We should talk a little bit about the costume, because I was reading, and Andrew, I know you said you watched like an extra documentary, so you probably know even more about this, but the costume that he's wearing at like the RoboCop outfit was apparently so like complicated and heavy and like suffocating that it took like 8-ish hours to get it on him. And in the car scenes, he couldn't even like get in and out of the car. So he's just pantsless in the car scenes, which I think
No
is
underwear
like,
either,
no,
apparently.
just like dying of heat, I'm
True.
sure, hoping for the best, like just not okay. And I can't imagine.
Is
like,
that why he walked like that?
yeah, he like literally couldn't walk. He probably couldn't go up and down stairs either. He was just doing his best.
Him and Ed.
Yeah, him and Ed.
So
Just doing
apparently
their best.
the costume was supposed to be ready like a week or two before, so that way they can like do like a test run or a simulation wearing the costume because
Yeah.
he'd been like practicing all of his movements, his weird little bird like whatever things, and but then like they put it on and it completely limited the motions that he had been practicing. And just to put it on took a lot longer than anticipated. That the first time they put it on, it took 11 hours. After that, they got like a more flow.
They floated all the way down to 8.
8.
Eight.
It's 3 less hours. That's a long time to be sitting there or standing there putting on a costume, you know?
I wonder if that frustrates an actor. It's like they read the script, they're super into
Yeah.
it, they get to set, and then the costume like strips away like 3/4 of what they hoped to do with the role. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder if that's demoralizing for the poor actors.
I'd imagine it would be. And like,
I mean,
and you
once
said
the movie came out,
you can't control.
obviously.
Also, like if he couldn't move the way that he wanted to move either, like that would definitely affect like how he.
I mean, and also when you're filming it, you're upset that it's not going the way you hoped it would go. So you don't know that it's going to be a raging success that people are still going to talk about like 40 years later. Like,
Yeah. Although, I mean, I guess
I'm glad it
RoboCop
did.
is upset to some level, so you could just fuel that right into the character. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, like, for a movie that was made in the 80s, like, I feel like it still looks like a badass robot. Like, his costume was, was pretty great for how miserable I'm sure it made him.
Even when they did the remake, which I thought was phenomenal as well.
I don't think I've seen
when they
that, so
rebooted
I'll have to check that out.
it's actually very good. Also a great warehouse factory gunfight scene, which
Nat loves a warehouse factory gunfight scene.
I was gonna say when Andrew and I were in university, we'd have like, you know, weekly movie nights at the house, and sometimes they would involve drinking games because, you know, we were
obviously
of legal drinking age in our 20s. Yeah, anyways, and one of the things was, what was it, Andrew? Take a sip every time he kills someone.
Yeah, so every single time someone is killed, you take a sip. So the warehouse scene right there, and at the time we had calculated that one beer was 12 sips. But I think that one scene was like something like 45 kills or something crazy.
Oh no, you were just like,
and the span of like
beer.
3 minutes, or like
Yeah, we usually would watch the movie up until that scene and be like, good for the night.
It's we can't do this anymore.
Drinking game's done.
Yeah.
But the other rules were good. Like whenever the RoboCop theme song came on, take a sip. Whenever the police cruiser bottoms out.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, that happened a lot in this movie.
That happens like more times than you would think when you're reading the rules.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, there it is.
Yeah, but it's that one factory scene that always gets you. Anyways, I was gonna say that in the remake, the costume, they don't change, like they still keep that same sort of look, you know, because it's such a good look. It's such a good
it stands the test of time.
cyborg look.
Yeah. Kathy's saying, didn't you drink on the catchphrase? come on, the catchphrase.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you gotta drink on the catchphrase.
Well, there's a few. Those are the main rules to remember. I don't know. I haven't done that in a long time.
We'll have to look it up. Maybe that'll be our next VHS Club experience. Will be drinking games for fun movies. I love it.
We'd have to modify the rules for us being old now.
yeah. We'd have to a gentle sip of wine. 2 gentle sips of wine. Yeah.
What was your favorite line, Katie? You were telling me earlier.
Oh, and I'm gonna get it wrong because my memory is, as I said, absolutely terrible. But I do love the scene so there's like a scene about halfway through where the guy who creates RoboCop and becomes like the one of the key bad guys. Is that Bob? I always confuse every character.
I think Bob was the guy who created RoboCop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bob
Uh,
who is like takes the win when after the guy is killed and forces his way in and creates like the new version of RoboCop, who's excited in Andrew's favorite scene. So he's later in the he's become like wildly popular and is like the new kind of boss of everything, and he's in his house doing all kinds of cocaine with like 3 or 4 sex workers with him, and the Clarence walks in and he just says bitches out. It's just fantastic, like in just how like shocking and perfect and ridiculous that entire moment was. I was just like, yeah, this is maybe not my favorite line, but like definitely up there along with some of the others. Notable, definitely a notable line. It was like, okay, great.
What was also funny with that scene is like they weren't bothered by it. They're just like, "Are you gonna call me?"
Yeah,
like,
they're like, okay, bye.
make sure you call me.
I did also love like that whole scene is incredible too, because they leave and then it's like this face off between these two bad guys, and there's like this moment where he shot him again with the shooting, so everyone drinks, and then he's like laying on the ground and he's been shot in like the leg a couple times, I think like the arm a couple times, and then Clarence like takes out like a grenade and just uses his mouth and like with his like tongue pulls out the pin and then just like sets it there. I don't know, it's so wonderfully like creepy and weird and like, yeah. I don't know, for a kill or ridiculous action movie kill scene, it's chef's kiss, perfect from beginning to end. Oh, bitches leave, thank you. See, you know, there's always someone else, but yeah, that's better than bitches out. Bitches leave, that's my favorite line. Oh, I love it. Yeah, if you're watching it with us live, you'll definitely have to let us know what your favorite line is in this movie. I mean, I'd buy that for $1. It's pretty good. That one's up there. But
what was RoboCop's tagline?
He has like his directives, which were in like a bunch of the directives were serve the public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law. And then there's the secret 4th one, Directive 4.
The 4th directive.
The 4th directive. But yeah, those were there. Although I don't think he ever says those. They're like shown on his like screen.
Yeah.
So you can see them all the way through. Yeah, Bob Morton. I found his name, guys. I did my notes.
I did like the first, was it his first time out his second time out where he saves this woman from being dragged into a dark alley, or as she's being dragged into a dark alley, and he like calculates and like shoots, and it looks like he shoots her like through her skirt, but really it's through her spread legs, and shoots the potential rapist's junk off. Mm-hmm. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, it's like the best montage ever. Like
right.
He clotheslines that robber in the grocery or whatever convenience store. He does the guy in the nuts. Like it's just like him just being a badass cleaning up the town.
It is kind of interesting because if you compare this against like Batman, for example, right? Like they're all like, oh, like Batman, he's a vigilante, and like RoboCop, it's like, thank God RoboCop is here saving everyone. Like it's totally fine that he's just like straight up killing people or like brutally maiming them. That's fine.
Well, he was brutally maiming. He only after he got his trauma flashbacks, and he goes after, I don't know the actor's name from Fame, but also Dr. Romano from ER, back when he still had some hair. Remember our wonderful little, our redheaded Frode guy from Fame?
Anyway, I know who you mean,
Dr.
but I couldn't tell you
Romano
his
is
name.
being chased. So when he's chasing Dr. Romano down, and then later he shows back up at the end of the movie in the sort of like construction showdown scene, construction site showdown, and I'm like, wait, didn't RoboCop dispatch him already? How did Dr. Romano get here? But also I did love his gruesome like turns into the Joker in a vat of toxins scene. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He explodes off the front of the car.
The toxic waste, Yeah, and that was very 80s. That moment of like melting face, and he's like coming up to the other guys and melting face. I think is
Like, I don't know
fantastic.
how many chemical factories actually just have vats that just write toxic
All the
like
time. Toxic
huge
waste, just a
letters right
huge
across
vat.
it.
Yeah.
The thing is it's a steel mill. Why do they have a huge like
You know.
tanker of toxic chemicals that melt skin instantly
Instantly,
in a steel mill?
yeah. Just cause that's where it is. Here you go, Nat. It's Paul McCrane. Thanks, Kathy.
Paul McCrane, yes,
Paul
thank you,
McCrane.
Kathy.
Yeah.
I knew Kathy would know.
Josh's favorite line is "Dead or alive, you're coming with me." You know what? I should have known that one, Josh, because that's what we put for our title of this episode: is "Dead or alive." You're watching this one. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. That's yeah, that's amazing. Oh yeah, here. So comment from the Nostalgic Pod Blast. The RoboCop Dutch director Paul Verhoeven is a creep. He has a rape scene in most of his movies: Showgirls, Hollow Man, RoboCop, etc. Yeah.
So he tells us who he is.
Yeah. That's
Got
too
it.
bad. That's too bad. All right, that's my least favorite moment about this movie is the director is terrible. All right, well, next series of questions. Favorite character who's not RoboCop? Do we have a favorite non-RoboCop character?
Ooh.
It was tough.
I like the lady cop.
Yeah.
I mean, she really stands strong throughout this whole thing. You know, like she's solid. She does what's right. She wants to uphold the law. She doesn't quit when all the other cops do, even though she probably should. And she's there. She helps them. You know,
Yeah, they were
she
like
stands by
barely
him.
partners before things changed, and she just like
Half a
is
shift,
ride or
like
die.
not even a full call. You
Yeah.
know, like
She was very
they
ride or
had their
die.
first call, and it's like everything goes sideways.
Yep. What about you, Andrew?
I thought like maybe not like a second favorite character, but just an interesting character. It's kind of like the nerdy sidekick to Bob Morton.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
with the big glasses and
Yeah.
like how he's just like claps whatever, and then like at the end when RoboCop gets whatever his name is, their Dick. Anyway, the main bad guy, like he's just like yes.
That's true. I did like him.
The nerdy lady scientist is pretty great too. There's something about her like giant round glasses that I really love. Yeah, she's fantastic.
I also really like the I guess the police chief, the poor guy.
Yeah.
Just trying his best to like control the chaos. He's like, this is not how things are done. It's like, oh God, nobody's listening to you.
No one's listening to him. Josh is with you, Nat. Josh likes Officer Lewis Murphy, RoboCop's partner. And then a note that she is played by the competent actress, Nancy Allen. Thank you for filling in those gaps for us.
Yeah, I mean, she actually did, the acting. She carried a lot of the heavy acting in the scenes, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't see RoboCop, in all fairness to Murphy, I think we saw his eye at one point because his visor got cracked.
Yeah, can I ask about that? So there's this scene, another one of my like wait a second moments in this movie. Like there's this scene pretty early on when like he's just become RoboCop in those like montage moments where one of Clarence's like henchmen recognizes him, and I'm like, there is no way in hell that this like henchman is going to be like, wait a second, you're one of the guys that we just killed. And I was like, wait a
but he
second.
does the same tagline there, the dead or alive thing. Yeah. So he's like, well, who says that?
I guess.
I guess.
It feels like a stretch. Like, cause I'm like, all you can see is just this part of his face. Like there's no way that you know who that is. But yeah, that's a good point. It was his catchline. Okay. I'll give you that. It was a moment where I was like, wait a second. How does he?
It all makes sense. It's the best movie ever created.
It's true. I'm sorry. I take it back. Well, my favorite character was definitely Clarence. So I'm all in on a good bad guy.
I did also like Ed.
Ed was good. Yeah.
The other robot.
True. Actually, yeah, if we're saying so, maybe in my ranking would be Ed and then Clarence. That would be my ranking.
Because Ed falling down the stairs is comedy gold.
Ed falling down the
stairs.
The
scene where Clarence just goes and dips his fingers in the wine and then like sniffs it. Like, it's just like, why?
Yeah, why?
The guy just goes and drinks his wine. Like
he's also a good actor.
Yeah, I actually think so. And I have watched way too much of the TV show Justified, but I think Walter Goggins, I think his name is, for the bad guy from Justified, could totally also play that role. Like the entire time I was like,
He's also been a
"Oh."
good guy in things recently.
I know, but he just like nails a bad guy that you just want to watch. Like you're like, yep. But I don't know. Do we think like Clarence is in the
No
same
redemption arc.
is this in the same level as like all of the other like iconic 80s action movie villains? Like is he like right up there?
I think it's pretty good. Like he's sacrificing his own henchmen there. Like even the first scene where they're in the back of the truck, can you fly, Bobby? And just like hawks him out of the truck.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's up there.
I mean,
like,
he's very memorable.
yeah.
I mean, he was memorable enough that when I saw him on that 70s show, I was like, oh, like, is this a comedy? It's a comedy show. Okay. All right. There was a panic moment where I'm like, wait, what kind of show is
Like,
this?
oh, your
70s
dad is
show?
not a good guy. He's not a good guy at all.
It's like, not surprised that he's really angry all the time. No, he's pretty iconic. I mean, not like Hans Gruber, but I mean, who else?
Yeah, I know. I was trying to figure out like who.
Like, you don't
bad guys
remember
are.
his name necessarily at the same level that you remember Hans Gruber.
That's true.
But also, he doesn't toll in Christmas, you know? So,
It's true. It's true.
I mean, if this was a Christmas movie, maybe it would be a different story.
It's true. It's true. I like now I'm thinking, I'm like, other than Hans, which immediately comes to mind, what are the names of other bad guys from 80s? I couldn't tell you. I couldn't
well,
tell
there's
you.
Bennett from like Commando.
Oh yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger let off some steam. Bennett. He throws the pipe through his chest there.
Apparently Schwarzenegger was up for the role of RoboCop, but he was too big to fit into the suit. They were like,
Oh
nah.
yeah, no, the suit would have been like huge.
I mean, the guy that played Murphy, when you see him, like, as a kid, I had a hard time understanding. Like, he is so
You're
puny, like,
Oh, though. Yeah.
compared to RoboCop. He
Yeah.
was so puny as, like, a real life person. He was, like, a slight man, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I just
And
got
he's-
schooled. The ultimate bad guy, Darth Vader.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
Darth
of
Vader
course.
and then Hans Gruber. Yeah, all right.
Our
fair.
buddy Darth.
Yeah. Touche. No, I mean, in my mind, not a full bad guy. You know, he's got the
He's not a bad
redemption
guy.
arc.
Yeah. As your son would attest to when he was 3 years old.
Yeah, he
no,
was
he's a
convinced
hero.
he's
He
the
wears a
hero.
cape.
Yeah, he's the hero. He's the hero. Well, how do you think this one holds up today? That's like one of the questions we've been asking in a lot of episodes. Like, does this one still hold up? I mean,
I'm like, isn't this happening right now? Like, I think
Totally
it holds
accurate
up
to
perfectly.
today.
well. If
Totally
anything,
accurate.
I'm watching this, I'm like, this is Simpsons prophetic.
yeah.
No,
I
it
thought that
holds
was
up.
awesome. You know, like they had like GPS trackers, like whatever Apple AirTags. They knew about it.
They
back
knew,
in
yeah.
87.
I mean,
Yeah.
They-
other than maybe some of the like special effects with blood and such, but I almost think that it's better that it's slightly
Yeah.
campy. Like
yeah,
I feel like
it's
it.
kind of like
Yeah.
like some animes where it's like the blood spray and it's just like it's part of the style of the movie, and because the gore was over the top,
Yeah.
I like that it was like
Yeah.
kind of fake gore.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it more palatable when it's this so over the top, you know, and like also trying to humanize the AI, and like they do these things to, you know, not make it so dark, but I think it still holds up. It's a good action flick. I find a lot of movies coming out are trying to be these like action, like these 80s, 90s actions, or I've seen them trying to do rom-coms again. It's not really working. There's very few movies that are made now that I think are as good as far as just blind action
Yeah.
as something like this.
Yeah.
I think like these movies I like better than say action movies that come out now, which have some sort of deep espionage,
Yeah.
war plot, blah blah. Like, no, I just want to see some dude with a cool gun kill shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's no slow part in RoboCop.
There's no
I mean,
there's no slow point.
well with those little ads and news stories and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, comic
it's just-
relief.
it goes from scene to scene to scene, and you're constantly not like there's no thinking involved.
Nope.
You're just kind of like in there enjoying the moment, and that's it.
There's also like it's funny. I've been joking with the kids lately because Scarlett keeps telling me that like every movie has a love story in it, and I'm like, no. And like every movie we watch has like some kind of like moment. This one doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It
Does
doesn't.
too. He misses his wife and his son.
I guess he misses his wife and his son, but it doesn't.
It humanizes his AI side.
It has a
like,
human eye, but there's not like it's not like they made like him end
not a
up
love
with
story.
there's no love story. He doesn't end
but
up
there's
with
an element. There's an element of love and how
guess. He
love
doesn't-
is the humanizing element.
I guess. No, there's no like he does. It's not like
but there's
he's,
no
like,
romance.
He's not saved and ends up like back with his wife. He doesn't like end up in
Yeah.
a romantic relationship with his partner. Like there's like
Yeah.
a bunch of things they could have done, and they were like, nah.
Well, I mean, that would be pretty.
Yeah.
I think it's not super likely for the
I just
female.
like that they
officer.
didn't need to add a story just because
Yeah.
that's what people are doing. You know,
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
this is our story about a man who becomes a robot, and that's it. That's awesome.
It's RoboCop, not Titanic. Touche. 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 My favorite quote of the night. Thank you. And I do love Emma's comment. The slowest part of RoboCop is how slowly he walks. Fantastic.
That's my
Fantastic.
sister-in-law.
Way to go. Fantastic. All right. Well, before we get to our rating, we're going to try something a little bit different tonight. We're forcing Andrew to do trivia. So I'm going to swing over here. Swinging over here. I'm going to take off this comment. We're going to put 59 seconds on the clock, and we're going to ask Andrew questions. Nat, you're allowed to yell out if you know the answer too. And if you're watching from home, whether you're watching later, you can just yell out loud and people will look around at you strangely. But, you know, if you feel like you know it, go for it. All right. Well, it clicked through. Okay. What city does RoboCop take place in?
Detroit.
What is RoboCop's real name?
Oh, Alex Murphy.
What does the acronym OCP stand for?
I have no idea.
Nat?
Pass.
All right. What is RoboCop's primary directive? There are
Uphold
three.
the law and serve the public.
Protect the innocents.
Nice. All right, there we go, Nat.
Combo Burnett for the win.
What experimental robot malfunctions during the boardroom demo?
ED 209.
Nice. Who is the sleazy coke snorting junior exec trying to climb the OCP ladder?
Bob Morton.
What is the name of the mega skyscraper where OCP is headquartered?
Ooh, I don't know what it's called, but I
Not
know it's
Nakatomi.
City Hall of I think Houston, Texas.
Bam! You did pretty darn good. All right, so the tower is called OCP Tower or
Oh,
Security Concepts Tower. Both terrible, terrible names. And the only other one that you missed was that OCP stands for Omni Consumer Products, which makes sense. Sure. It's like GA.
okay.
All right, so a couple bonuses. Do you want a couple bonuses?
Sure.
All right, what TV catchphrase is repeated multiple times in the film?
Buy that for $1.
Nice, nice. Who directed RoboCop?
I don't know. It's
That
like
rapey guy, Van
Some
Bird.
asshole.
guy there. Even if I had it in front of me, I wouldn't be able to pronounce his name.
Way to go, Andrew. Very, very impressive. All right, absolute last one. What weapon does RoboCop use most often? Do you know the name of it?
I know it was a modified Beretta.
Well
Twirly
done.
gun?
I don't
think
even-
a 3.
I don't even have the answer. Apparently, is an Auto 9 pistol, which maybe they made up that name for it.
Well,
but-
yeah, they call it an Auto 9 pistol in the movie. So I was actually thinking of the gun, the real gun that they modified to make the gun. My bad.
Meanwhile, I
Andrew is
wouldn't be
way
able to
too
tell you.
specific. I'm like, it's the twirly pistol.
Way to go, Nat. You got it. You got that one. It's the twirly pistol. It's the twirly pistol. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we have come to just about the end. So now is the time for everyone to drop in their ratings if you're hanging out with us live. We rate in potatoes, but you could rate in twirly gun pistols or little blood droplets. What else could we rate in? We could rate
AI robots.
Yeah, we could rate in robots. We could definitely rate in robots. the AI overlords that help me write my questions say that we should rate on a scale of get him a body bag to I'd buy that for $1. So, somewhere in between
Amazing.
there.
That's
and
pretty awesome.
We can pretty much guess what the three of us are going to say, but yeah, we can hear what everyone else has to say in the meantime. So now I'm going to have to rewatch is it a remake or is it a sequel?
A remake.
A remake.
Okay,
All right.
so there is RoboCop 2 and 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say
and
because
in
there are
one of
sequels.
those,
Okay.
Oh yeah, no.
like a jetpack, and he flies around, and that's where it really kind of goes off the rails. Like if you're a huge RoboCop fan, watch it, but it's not as good as the first one. But the remake, is
I
like
love when a
20
remake when a sequel goes off the rails. I feel like you need
I
for
like
part 3 to be crazy. That's important.
The remake was good. It was with that Swedish guy, Joel Kinnaman.
Couldn't tell you.
Killerman. He was in
Tater's holding twirly guns. Great
what
rating,
was-
Josh.
he was in that TV show. Andrew, I know you and Emma watched it. Cops, Seattle, Nordic Noir. It was originally like a Nordic Noir show, and it remade it in the US.
And he was the actor that played Murphy.
Yeah. Anyways, he's very good. He's very tall Viking-esque guy.
Well, apparently they need to be like
Yeah.
thin in order to fit.
He
into
is
that
thin.
crazy suit,
He's
so,
thin.
Yeah,
He's more of like
you can't be an
a
Arnold Schwarzenegger type and not. Although it would.
I mean, he's not a Skarsgård, but he's, tall, Swedish, large person.
I feel like it would be really fun to do.
Joel Kinnaman.
Kinnaman. Yeah. Kinnaman?
It would be hilarious to
He's a good
do
actor.
an SNL skit with Arnold Schwarzenegger in like a Halloween costume version of RoboCop outfit. That would make my day. It probably exists,
be
and I
pretty
just haven't
funny.
seen it, but that would be absolutely incredible. Well, I still have not updated to add half potatoes, so we're gonna go with 4 3/4 potato. I just like moved the last one a little to the side. Andrew would say 100 million potatoes. Acres and acres of potatoes that are
Full
constantly
potatoes.
so many potatoes. Now, if you could choose any potato amount, how many?
Yeah, between 4 to 5 potatoes.
Between 4 and 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Entertainment factor is there. Nostalgia is there. Creepy propheticness is there.
Yeah.
And Ed falling down the stairs. Love it.
Oh my gosh. I like we will. I may have to find
And
that clip
Dr. Romano.
just to play on repeat forever in my mind. The older I get and the more that I've been rewatching these movies, the more that I realize that like I love an action movie, like a pure action movie like this. I love an
Classic
action
yeah.
comedy, and I love like a slapstick comedy, and I love a romantic comedy. I don't care at all for a drama. Like I don't want to watch them. I do, and I have moments of enjoying them, but like I really
I'm a little more over
wanna
it nowadays.
Yeah, I really want to
Like
live in like a fake I like a fantasy. I like a sci-fi. I don't want anything that's way
We
too
like
serious.
a Lady Hawk. We're not going to watch Beaches.
Yeah, no to beaches. No to beaches. No. I just let my 10-year-old talk me into watching My Girl right before this. So the fact that I'm not like puffy and ugly crying on camera is impressive, but like no to those. No more to those. We're not.
And I'm saying we love My Girl. It's just you only need to watch it once to have
time.
Like the emotional damage of a lifetime.
Yeah, just the one time. And I will say, like
Andrew's like, I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, no, don't watch it. Don't watch it.
Don't let your daughter watch it, Andrew.
Oh my gosh, she was like insistent. I was like, it's sad. It's like aggressively sad. And she was like, no, I can take it. I'm like, people die. It's about death. It's got lots of death. And she was like, it says that it's a good movie for tween girls. I was like, that's a lie. It's about dying. Like you don't want to watch it. And she was like, nope. I'm like, fine. So we buckled in, and it was like 3/4 of the way through where she realized what was like about to happen, and she was like, does he die?
Oh, no.
I was like, he dies. Yes. Can we stop it? Like, and she was like, no. And so we just sat there in like ugly crying silence.
Yeah, yeah, it really, yeah.
Look at us.
You should watch.
Time.
It was a bad time. So I'm thankful that we followed it up with a RoboCop review to really, to make it.
That's more fun.
To make it better. And it looks like 4 and 5 across the board. Kathy's got Robo
nice.
and Cops. Clever, Kathy. I like.
Love it.
I like that.
Love it.
And thank you for the kind words. And yeah, we tricked Nat into coming back, so now we're gonna.
It's all Andrew's fault.
All Andrew's fault. Andrew, you have to be back
No, I'm
on every
happy to be
episode.
back.
Every episode, just to stick it in. We need to. So next week, I'm on location. I'm actually in. We should do Groundhog Day again. I'm going to be in Woodstock, so I'm on site at Groundhog Day. So we should
That
do
would be
like
funny.
Titanic or something weirdly different, just to really be strange about it.
We
We'll have to
should do
think through.
Jaws.
We could do Jaws from Groundhog Day's location. That could be fun.
Your daughter wants to watch Jaws, which I think is much more emotionally safe for children to watch than My Girl. Just throwing it out there.
We could follow up My Girl with Jaws. Please, no one report me to Child Protective Services. We could have a couple clips of her reactions to Jaws on. Yeah.
Please. So
That could
funny.
be a
I don't
fun
think
one.
she's gonna. Money down, she's not going to be fazed by Jaws
No, she won't care.
whatsoever.
She won't care
She'll
at
be
all.
like, this is so lame, but now I know why you guys always say we need a bigger boat when we go on Grandpa's boat.
She watches nature documentaries like endlessly, so I feel like Jaws would
Yeah,
just
those are way more violent. Planet Earth
Yeah.
versus Jaws.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
But she
Well,
does need to know it because she needs to know like our catchphrases that we use.
It's true. It's true. It's been a while since I watched Jaws. That might be a good one. All right. Well, if anyone of you watching or listening, you can always swing over to the VHSclubpod.com. You can leave us a voicemail and overrule our choices. You can look at our movie list and see what we've watched so far. Chances are it's like not one of your favorite movies because everyone that's talked to us is like, have you done this one yet? And we're like, no, we have not done that one yet. So, but we checked RoboCop off the list. Andrew, now you're gonna have to figure out what are the other four in your top five. You said this one's in your top five.
Well, barring like things like Indiana Jones and Star Wars, like I like really
Or
watching
including.
Views is pretty good. That's like a 90s VHS type thing. I don't know if you've already done that one or not.
Say it again.
That Dazed and Confused.
Oh, we haven't done Dazed and Confused. Nope.
Well, there you go.
We
that
also
could
haven't
be-
done Star Wars or Indiana Jones. We're not a very good podcast so far. We've only done weird, quirky movies that we thought would be fun. Yeah,
We haven't done any of the big ones yet.
No, we did Independence Day though, so we couldn't do that today. So we've checked that one off the list. Yeah. Dazed and Confused would be a fun one to do. What else is on the list?
Now you're putting me on the spot.
I know.
That's
It's
thinking
hard.
about RoboCop all week,
It's
not
hard.
other movies.
I mean, it is Star Wars. It is Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
RoboCop.
Well, Kathy is saying Jaws kept her off the beach for years.
Ooh.
And actually,
Commando.
good call.
Another action comedy thing. Commando would be.
Oh
a
yeah,
good one.
Commando. All right, you have to come back to do Commando.
Which one's the one where he says, "Get to the chopper"?
Get to the chopper.
Likely Commando might be Predator.
Is it Commando?
We haven't
2?
done Predator. We haven't done Predator or Alien, and we also haven't done Back to the Future. Which happy birthday, Back to the Future, July 3rd, 1985. We should have done that one today, but we didn't. We did RoboCop.
We did
instead.
not.
So we'll save that one for another time. Save that one.
Oh,
for-
actually, this week would have been perfect with Canada Day and July 4th because Back to the Future is an American film starring a Canadian.
yeah.
That would have been adorable if we were on any kind of ball. I've dropped all the balls.
Yeah, the balls are on the ground, and we'll do Back to the Future
Well,
eventually.
I
'cause-
messaged Katie randomly, hey, let's do RoboCop, and that was it. Like there was no thought process.
it's its 40th birthday, but that's fine. We're talking RoboCop today. Yeah, no, it's fine. We'll get there. That's the fun of this show. We're all about whatever people want us to talk about. So
Yeah.
I'm happy we did RoboCop tonight. Well,
Yeah, such a good movie.
have we? Oh, see, now we're getting more. Have we done sports comedy Wildcats? Nope, haven't done that one yet.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, gotta keep. You all have to swing over to the website and leave us your
I
recommendation.
do kind of like the idea of doing, Jaws because it's summertime. You're in New
that
England.
one is also that's the 50th anniversary. So
Yeah, and it's the 50th anniversary. I feel like half a century ago, this movie came out, and it still scares people away from the water.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to say the half a century.
And
part
you were
again. That's
just in
upsetting.
Martha's Vineyard.
It's true. I was in Nantucket, so I was safe, but close enough. Yeah, as Kathy says, there's endless Thursdays. We'll be back for Back to the Future at some point.
Correct.
I mean, that one's about time travel, so we can just pretend that we did it on today's episode. It'll be fine. It'll be totally fine. Well, thank you to everyone for hanging out with us tonight. Huge thanks to Andrew for suggesting this one, because this was
Thanks,
so
Andrew.
much fun. Come back. We'll force you back again. And yay for not being back. Well,
Hooray.
yeah, yay! So if you love the show or like the show or hate the show, you can find it at the VHSclubpod.com. You can see our movie list and past episodes. You can rate and review. You can shop all kinds of bonkers, weird things that we've added to the merch shop, all that fun stuff. And you can see what's coming up next. We'll be back next Thursday. I'm on location, but hey, let's talk Jaws. I think it'll be fun. We'll talk Jaws from Woodstock, Illinois on my end. Woodstock meets the Montreal area. It should be a good time. And then we'll move into, I keep staring at my Titanic poster, so we gotta do Titanic at some point, and then all the other ones on the list.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. We'll see you all next time. Bye everyone.
Hey. Bye, everyone.
King Matt, walking the scene with you in old flicks from the 90s. So keen, the VHS Club, they're the talk of the town. Breaking